Obviously, this was a very chippy game, a very physical game, and after the game, both sides weighed in on the conversation.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting it, but I think it's just like, just respond, come down, let your play do the talking. It is what it is. It's a physical game. Go make the free throw and then execute on offense. And I feel like that's kind of what we did, but you know, it is what it is, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm just really proud of her for not reacting. You know, that was a moment, you know, she's a competitor. And she kept her cool, and I'm so, you know, that's exactly what she needed to do in that moment in this game. It was a tight game. Like, we didn't need to take, you know, but she handled it amazing. You know, I'm going to go back and look at it. I'll probably send it into the league. That's what we keep doing. We just keep sending all these clips into the league, and they keep telling us why we're not right about our calls, or what we think. But we're going to keep doing it. These guys are going to start getting calls. They've got to start getting calls.
It seemed like she turned to you a little bit.
Yeah.
After
I ain't answering no Caitlin Clark questions.
did she say anything to you?
I don't know what she said.
What'd you say to her?
I didn't say anything.
That's enough. We're good. She's good.
So she didn't have any comment about Caitlin Clark after the game, but Chennedy Carter did take to Twitter to share some thoughts here, saying, quote, "Troll notifications blowing up. I love it. We love the petty. We love a little kissy face emoji. And we love talking WNBA with our girl, Terrika Foster-Brasby, WNBA analyst for us here on CBS. Terrika, I kind of just want to open up the floor here because there's a lot to discuss. But when it comes to this game, these incidents specifically, what'd you think?
Wow. Well, I think there are multiple things to consider here, right? First of all, what we don't see on the replay and what we haven't seen on any replays is that before Chennedy Carter kind of shoved Caitlin Clark, there was definitely dialogue between the two of them on a previous play. What was said, I don't know. Chennedy didn't want to talk about what was said, but it's not something that we haven't seen previously. One thing about Caitlin that I'm starting to learn is Caitlin likes to talk in these games, right? She likes to talk. She's a competitor. That's what competitors do. Competitors talk trash on the basketball court. The problem is because of the heightened sensitivity that some people have around Caitlin, when players react to the noise that, you know, that she rightfully so brings, it gets this narrative built that people are purposely trying to do things to hurt her, or they're jealous of her, or they're hating on her, things of that nature. And realistically, it is players doing what players do. It is competitors doing what competitors do. The officials did the right thing by making the call on the play. If they called it flagrant, I mean, I don't remember them calling it flagrant, but if they did, it is what it is. That's the call that they made. It's not the first time that we've seen this. We just saw in the Chicago game against Connecticut that Alyssa Thomas was put out for a flagrant 2 ejection on Angel Reese. It is basketball, right? And I think that it has to start being perceived that way because it just doesn't feel fair to continue to say that these things are done purposefully when we don't know that. You know, Haley, I can remember just a season ago when Aaliyah Boston was a rookie, and we were all excited about Aaliyah coming into the league. We continued to say, hey, we can't wait to see her in the WNBA because all of the double teams and triple teams that we see her get in college, we're not going to see that in the WNBA. Well, guess what happened? Aaliyah Boston was so good at her job that when she got in the WNBA, she started being double teamed and triple teamed, and people were physical with her. And it wasn't because they didn't like her or they hated her or anything. It's because that is what basketball players do when you play on a team that's not mine. That's what we're seeing. That's what we saw. And so that's just kind of where I'm hoping we continue to drive as the season progresses, because it's not going to get any easier. Like, it's not, people are not going to let up. No one's going to baby Caitlin. Physicality is a part of the WNBA, and we're going to continue to see it.
Yeah, this is so difficult, right? Because on one hand, you're excited because when you go on social media, we just had the Champions League final, but everybody is talking about this specific play, which is good for the W, right? Because we're finally talking, we finally got fans engaged enough to be outraged about something like this. So kind of a two-parter here. You know, in a league where it's been physical from the beginning, maybe some of the newer fans are just sort of learning that. Is this type of conversation good for the WNBA? And then going forward, are we as the media sort of making this into a bigger deal than what it needs to be?
I agree 100% that this conversation is good for the W. We have these conversations in NBA and NFL. We talk about this kind of stuff all the time in every other sport. In men's sports, we don't have to worry about the sensitivity of the subject matter, right? It just kind of is what it is, and it flows into the play of competition. I cannot wait for us to get to a point where that same thing is expected in women's sports as well. It's not just basketball. I mean, we have these conversations in other sports too, where women are involved. And it really needs to show how we can evolve as fans and as media as it relates to how we converse and discuss certain physical topics among sports. Women are competitors. And like you mentioned, this thing happens in the WNBA. It's going to continue to happen. It's been happening. People have been physical for years. You ask anybody who's had to be guarded by Diana Taurasi if this is just something that just came up. They've been physical for a very long time in this league. I do believe, however, that with the heightened television, with the heightened viewership, with the more eyes that are on the game now, the heightened interest that are on the game now, I think some of the newer fans, to your point, are really just now understanding or just now really seeing how physical this game is. But again, the officials, it is their job to call the game by the books. Sometimes they get it right, sometimes they get it wrong. I don't know anybody who's ever happy with the calls that officials make. But at the end of the day, as long as they're doing the job that they're supposed to do, the physicality with the game is not going to change. It's not going to get easier for anyone, for any rookie. I just really hope we get to a point where it becomes accepted that this is a physical game and not people wanting to see them kind of tone it down a bit.
Yeah, it's just been fun to see people chit-chatting about it. I did want to share this quote from Caitlin Clark in regards to all the physicality. She said this, I believe, after the Sparks game before this one. She said, quote, "It's tough, but that's just the fact of the matter. This is a very physical game, and you're going to get pressure. This is professional basketball. It is what it is." So that kind of puts a bow on all of this. Welcome to the W, Caitlin, and any other rookie checking in. Terrika, thank you for checking in with us here on HQ. Always bringing the insight, and it's so good to see you. So, the Fever pick up their second win of the season. The season is still young, so still some time to increase that win-loss record there. But as you take a look at their next 5 games, it is a tough sled. As it stands right now, the Sun, the only undefeated team in the W right now, they get them on June 10th. But first, they're at the Liberty, at the Mystics. And you see the game highlighted. Rematch right here on CBS against the Sky on June 16th.